The new allegation around Kristi Noem is drawing attention for one reason above all. It does not center on a fresh public statement from Kristi Noem or Corey Lewandowski, but on a reported private remark attributed to Bryon Noem. On March 31, 2026, a published investigation alleged that Bryon Noem told an online model he knew about rumors involving his wife and advisor Corey Lewandowski. If you follow verified celebrity-style public figure timelines like this, subscribe, like, and share to support Starline Daily for more celebrity updates and trending entertainment news. According to that reporting, Bryon Noem allegedly used a pseudonym in online fetish forums, exchanged messages with models, and spent thousands of dollars on those interactions. One woman told reporters that when she asked him about rumors that Kristi Noem was involved with Lewandowski, Bryon allegedly replied, "I know, there's nothing I can do about it." That is the claim now driving this story, but it is still just that, a reported allegation. This has not been publicly confirmed by Kristi Noem or Corey Lewandowski, and both have continued to deny affair rumors. The background matters, because this did not begin on March 31st. Rumors about Noem and Lewandowski had circulated well before this latest development, and Lewandowski's role inside DHS had already become a public issue. Public reporting described him as an unpaid special government employee who was widely seen as Noem's de facto chief of staff. On March 28th, DHS told Reuters that Lewandowski no longer had a role at the department, confirming that his official connection to the agency had ended after Noem's removal. Why did the Lewandowski question become so central in Washington? Because lawmakers were no longer treating it as tabloid chatter alone. During a House Judiciary hearing, Representative Sidney Kamlager-Dove argued that the judgment of Noem and her senior staff could be a matter of life and death, and she challenged Lewandowski's level of influence inside DHS. In follow-up descriptions of that same exchange, Noem maintained that Lewandowski did not have authority to make official decisions, and described him as one among many special government employees. That clash over influence is a big reason the personal story kept spilling into the official one. The most memorable public moment came on March 4th. In that hearing, Kamlager-Dove asked Noem directly whether she had had a sexual relationship with Lewandowski. Noem pushed back immediately and called the question tabloid garbage. What made the moment even more striking in hindsight is that Bryon Noem was there, seated behind her during the hearing, while the rumors were being challenged in front of cameras and lawmakers. That scene has now become part of the timeline viewers are revisiting as they try to understand how the newest allegation fits into everything that came before. Then the political fallout accelerated. Reuters reported that President Donald Trump fired Kristi Noem on March 5th after months of controversy around DHS, including the fatal shootings of 2 U.S. citizens, scrutiny over a $220 million advertising contract, and sharp criticism of her management. Reuters also reported that officials said allegations about her relationship with Lewandowski were among the issues that contributed to her firing. That does not prove the rumors, but it does show they had become part of the official political pressure surrounding her exit. Even after her removal from DHS, the Lewandowski story did not fade. Noem moved into a new job as special envoy for the Shield of the Americas. Days later, Reuters reported that Lewandowski appeared beside her in official photos during a diplomatic trip to Guyana. At the same time, the State Department declined to explain why he was on the trip and said he would not be joining the department in any capacity. That detail mattered because it suggested that, whatever his formal status, public questions about his closeness to Noem were still very much alive. Then came the second wave of headlines, this time focused on Bryon Noem himself. Follow-up coverage said Kristi Noem was devastated and that the family had been blindsided, according to a statement attributed to her representative asking for privacy and prayers. The same reporting said Bryon did not deny engaging in the online conversations or sharing photos when asked about them, but he did reject the idea that he had made comments that endangered national security. That distinction is important because it separates the parts of the story that were reportedly not denied from the parts that were directly challenged. There is also a family context that should not get lost here. Kristi and Bryon Noem have been married since 1992. They have 3 adult children, and recent coverage noted that they are also grandparents. For most of Kristi Noem's rise from South Dakota politics to national office, Bryon remained largely in the background. That history helps explain why the latest reporting landed with such force. It did not just reopen a political rumor, it pushed a long-time family dynamic into a much harsher national spotlight. By the time this resurfaced, Noem's career had already taken a dramatic turn. Reuters described her as a former South Dakota governor who became one of the most visible cabinet figures in Trump's administration, before being removed from DHS and shifted into a diminished envoy role. That career context is part of why a relationship allegation became such a large public story so quickly. These were not obscure private figures. They were people tied to one of the most visible agencies in Washington, under scrutiny for both policy decisions and personal judgment. So what is actually confirmed as of April 1st, 2026? It is confirmed that Noem publicly dismissed the Lewandowski question as tabloid garbage, that Reuters confirmed Lewandowski's departure from DHS, that he later appeared beside Noem on her diplomatic travel, and that a representative said Noem was devastated and asked for privacy. What is not publicly confirmed is the alleged affair itself, the exact private meaning of the messages attributed to Bryon beyond the published reporting, or what any of the three central figures privately knew and when they knew it. This has not been publicly confirmed, and that distinction is crucial. That makes this less a settled revelation than an active public timeline. The latest report did not produce a sworn filing, a direct confession, or a joint public response from the people at the center of it. What it did do was revive an old rumor with a new and highly personal alleged detail from inside the marriage itself. And until Kristi Noem, Bryon Noem, or Corey Lewandowski addresses that claim directly, the clearest confirmed update is still the same. 1. There is a new allegation in public, but the affair itself remains denied and unconfirmed. Thanks for watching Starline Daily, and thank you for supporting the channel.